welcome to Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm your ballin' like a wizard host, Madelyn.
I really want to know what that's about. I'm your host for Night Springs, host Emma.
And welcome to this week's show. It's side quest time, and it's 6 weeks in gaming side quest time.
Yes.
Required comment. Wow, it sure has been 6 weeks.
I mean, you do say that every 6 weeks.
Somehow every 6 weeks I feel it.
Yeah.
This has once again been I've been in like 10,000 states, by which I mean 3 or 4.
Ah, yes, the famous 10,000 states of America.
That's what it's known as. So I played fewer games than I intend to play in the next 6 weeks. And I think I said that last time, too.
We forgive you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I will take that forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
But it probably means that Emma, as much as I know that people are awaiting my thoughts on the ending of Trine 5.
I know.
You probably ought to weigh in first.
He was ballin' in Trine 5?
No, that was a reference to the other game.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, he was ballin'. There was no fire. Spoiler, the wizard did not learn how to summon fireballs.
Oh. He was not fireballing.
That is kind of his defining trait.
Well, I can say that I finished Lightning Returns.
Wow.
Meaning I have finished the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy.
The final 13.
Yes, I have only played, like, the Final Fantasies that people feel controversially about. I guess that's all of them. You know what? That's all of them. So
that's
I shouldn't
kind of
say
your
that.
brand. You love to play games that are controversial.
Yeah. Because I've played now 15, the 2 7 remakes that are out, and now all of the 13 trilogy. So, and also a little bit of the 12 one that was on the DS. If I remember correctly. It was a good game. You know what? Here's my big take. 13 trilogy, pretty good. Pretty good games. I like them.
Did it give you faith in their ability to make a trilogy?
Yes, so, you know, I talked a little bit last time, like, about how the 7 trilogy is really just the 13 trilogy again. I will give it this. The 7 games are at least, like, one straight line. Each of the 13 games are like, we've totally recast the setting here.
More of a jagged line. A lightning shape.
Yes, a lightning shape, you might say. Ho ho. Very clever, Malin. But yeah, I just basically had the ending left. When we talked about it last time, I thought that the ending was pretty satisfying. I like it when characters are floating in the air and they hold hands and they spin around like Spirited Away. They don't really spin in Spirited Away, but you know, they like fall and hold hands.
Sure.
Yeah.
Does that happen in Spirited Away?
Yeah, because she cries and her tears go up because she remembers.
But doesn't it also... I feel like there's at least one other Ghibli where that
I'm
happens.
sure it does, yes. I like when characters are floating and holding hands. There you go.
In addition to the Emma core canon.
Yes, that's the Emma core. But I felt pretty satisfied with it. It was just a good game to vibe in and hang out in. I liked all the things they tried. You know, I liked the time system and the dress up and the characters singing songs around the world and so on and so forth. And the chocobo that's also Odin. That was good. All that stuff. You know, I could have some quibbles of none of the games really feel like they follow each other in certain ways, but they do in some ways, and in other ways they're like they decided they weren't interested in some plot lines here. But had a very fun time.
Couldn't get away with that now. Just gonna say.
Yeah, it is very interesting how it's just a very interesting sort of narrative thing of it's quite different. The setting in 13 is quite different from 13.2, is quite different from Lightning Returns. But they still manage to carry some through lines through in a way that still makes them feel connected. And of course, the characters carry over as well. So it's a weird, interesting little anthology that's technically like also a sequential story, I guess. So it's just like an interesting series of games. And you can also see them like really setting up the combat system of like 7 Remake and stuff too. So if you like the way those games play, you probably will enjoy the 13 series as well. Should I do another? I also played Night Springs, the Alan Wake 2 DLC. Unfortunately, as hosts, neither of us have the gravitas of Warland Door, but
it's a difficult, what can you do?
What can you do? So Night Springs is essentially like 3 sort of what-if stories, right? Sort of told within this, like, Alan wrote, like, episode scripts for Night Springs at some point in his career, and so this comes up occasionally as sort of like a framing device for, I think they did it with the original Alan Wake. I think Alan Wake's American Nightmare was also like a Night Springs episode, essentially. But it's like Twilight Zone, right?
Sure.
Is essentially how it's presented. So, in the first one, you play as Rose, who's a waitress, who's Alan Wake's biggest fan. And so it's sort of like a little comedy, comedy romance, I guess, escapade, which is quite fun. The second one's with Jesse Faden, who's the protagonist in Control, which is a more sort of horror one, where she's come to like an alternate version of Coffee World, which is a location.
This is an episode script featuring the protagonist from Control?
Yes.
That's effed up.
They're not like, so the whole point of Alan Wake is like his writing, like sort of bleeding into realities, right? So maybe he did write these, maybe he wrote them while he was trapped in purgatory, in between Alan Wake and Alan Wake 2. All these different possibilities. They're never referred to by their real names. They're always referred to as like whatever they are. So like Rose in the first one is just waitress, right? Jesse in the second one is sibling. And then it's frick, I can't remember. It's Sean Ashmore. I can't remember Sean Ashmore's character's name. In Tim Breaker, right? Except he's actually Sean Ashmore in this one. He's Sean Ashmore, who's doing an acting role for Sam Lake, and then ends up like sort of it's actually happening to him. The role that he's playing.
Like, good for them. More meta weird storytelling in video games, probably a positive thing overall. But also, like, come on, dudes.
It's great. It was all very fun. There's a real banger of a theme song that they have for this one, because they have chapter songs for all of theirs. They're actually like TV episode length, all of them. So they're all like 40 minutes to an hour to get through. And then, you go on to the next one and then the next one. So they're sort of fun to just take a little bit and play through. None of them are particularly hard. They give you a lot of bullets to work with in a way that they don't in the main game. So it's really just something to sort of enjoy the differing vibes of Remedy storytelling, of which all of them, they sort of neatly divvy up into like the categories, right? Like really goofy, pretty scary, and very meta and weird are sort of like across the 3 different episodes for this one. But I was happy to go back to Alan Wake 2. I still have to find time to do my New Game Plus playthrough. Eventually, one day, when they stop making video games.
Yeah, the day the games stop.
The day they stop making games, I'll I will play so many games.
Hey, they've shut down like another 3 studios since the last one, you know?
Oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't joke. But yeah, there's gonna be another DLC. I think it's supposed to also come out this year, but they haven't like announced it yet, so we'll see. We'll see what that one is.
So I was about to say, when are they going to make the Alan Wake TV show? And then I started to doubt myself that maybe that's already been announced.
I don't know. I don't
probably
think
not.
so.
If you aren't aware of it, then I'm thinking probably not. But I was like, when are they going to make this? Ha ha ha, how meta would that be? And then I was like, oh no, are they already making it?
They're making Max Payne remakes.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. I mean, they already use so much live action footage in their games that it sort of feels redundant.
Ah, I know. There was supposed to be an AMC adaptation.
Like when?
They picked Alan Wake up for distribution in 2020.
Okay, so
it seems like one of those things that's going to be a fun Wikipedia page tidbit that you're like, ha ha ha, they were developing this, and then it disappeared.
Yeah.
But feels like a natural next fit, and in that game, he would be a video game writer. Or in that universe.
Alan would be a good video game writer. He would fit right in, I think.
No, he wouldn't.
He's, like, not that good, so he could...
Sure, maybe his skill level... Wow, Emma just being like, oh, stop making games. You suck.
I mean, his thing is he's quite tropey, right? He knows how to, like, write one thing, like, very popcorn seller stuff. And he gets writer's block when he tries to write things that are good.
Can't he, like, not finish?
So the premise of the first Alan Wake is he's just killed off his main moneymaker character, Alex Casey.
Right.
And he's gotten stuck trying to come up with something else to follow that because he wants to, like, write something real. But he's been writing these, like, noir thrillers for so long that he, in fact, cannot think of anything else.
Okay, so he could work at Naughty Dog.
They can have him write the new Max Payne game.
There you go. Well, it's here. It's what you've been waiting for. Like 6 or 7 months later. 6 months later?
I'm so excited.
The end of Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy.
Woo!
For those who maybe forgot, because it's been so long, or those who are new to the show, Clickbait Boyfriend and I got very into the Trine games. As a result, hat tip to Emma, of Trine being an old game in the hat sometime last year. And also, as a result, thank you, PlayStation Network, to the first 3 Trine games being bundled for like $10.
Mm-hmm.
Cost less money to buy the 3 of them together than it did to buy like just the first one on Switch. So we got very into the Trine games. At first, sort of ironically, and then I think sort of unironically. And now 100% unironically, you should play Trine. Please play Trine. Frozen Byte has at various times seemed like they might not exist anymore. So, like, please buy Trine 5. I would like Trine 6 and Trine 7.
Yeah.
I would like more Trine. Trine 5, as I think I said, so to recap, Clickbait Boyfriend and I, Trine 5 came out last summer in like August, like a week after Clickbait Boyfriend opened the Spanish like offshoot of Talk This HQ, where I broadcast from occasionally, and so we didn't get to play it, which is it was a real bummer because we love Trine. And then we came back for winter break. And we played almost all of it. We played quite a bunch of it. Then he had to go to some conferences. And we thought we were going to finish it in time for that podcast before a little bit of other travel. And he was so jet lagged that he was falling asleep mid-jump. And I could not, in good conscience, force him to finish the game with me for the podcast deadline. Which was quite a bummer. For me and for all of you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then he's been away. When he's been away from our PlayStation for months and months and months. And then finally... we finished the last, like, chapter and a half. 2 chapters of this 22-chapter game. or whatever. So I wouldn't recommend playing it that way, to be perfectly honest. Narrative momentum, little messy, right? But for those who might not remember the story of Trine 5, the three heroes of Trine, Amadeus the wizard, Zoya the thief, and Pontius the knight, if you aren't familiar with these iconic characters, who can, are cursed to forever be alive as long as one of them is alive. Or blessed. Game mostly thinks blessed. But they got called together to do some Trine shenanigans and got tricked by the evil queen basically into nuking the kingdom, more or less. Oops. And then, also as part of that, Amadeus is, on the outs with his wife again. His triplets get captured. His triplets who were born in the first game and are now, young adults, right? So Trine universe is not quite on the real world time, but not so far off. They've grown up. They're teens or young adults now, and so we managed to rescue the triplets, and defeat the evil queen. As part of that, the triplets maybe somehow became possessed with the spirit of Trine. The spirit of Trine came and helped the triplets escape, which I'm just saying. The whole time that this was happening, the whole triplets storyline, my boyfriend and I were triplets? I mean, they've always been triplets, right? We were
yeah.
New heroes of Trine. Can we get an Amadeus's triplets spin-off game? Or I was hoping that we would get a side chapter where you played as the triplets for a little bit and finally get that long-awaited fireball ability. But you didn't. They just kind of got rescued Deus Ex Machina a little bit. It was Trine warped them out. But yeah, you defeat the evil queen and the knight. The evil queen and the knight basically kill themselves.
Cool.
He tries to jump off and jet away, and then she jumps onto him, and he's this jetpack can only hold one person. And then the narrator is and they never saw them again.
Very Emperor's New Groove of them.
Sure. Tonally quite similar overall. Amadeus reconciled with the twins, did not get back with his wife, who was so scary the orcs didn't want her. So, but he at least got the kids in the divorce.
You said twins.
Triplets. You're right. Sorry.
One of them still hates him.
Maybe mysteriously. Zoya maybe got a girlfriend? Question mark?
Good for her.
Sapphic reveal at the end. And Pontius was I'm useless. We nuked the kingdom. And Zoya was but you're the heart of the team. And he felt better.
Oh, good.
There was no post-credit scene, which I was disappointed in. The final boss, I think, was good. It was a good, I can't judge how it would have felt as an actual culmination to the game, as I played it mostly independently of the rest. But felt like a good kind of final boss rush, final boss test. In summation, Trine 5 is, objectively the best Trine game. Certainly technically the best Trine game. I think that it, while Trine 4 was in many ways technically good, it often felt a little bit too, the sandbox feeling. Felt like it had been curtailed a bit. And this one, the ability eventually to summon, 7 boxes as the wizard, that's really key to a good Trine game, is you must eventually be able to summon just endless boxes that you can stick together and do crazy things with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they came up with some good new powers. The puzzles were challenging, but not overly frustrating, well crafted. But I do have to say that Trine 2 is still actually the best Trine game. It is the triniest Trine game. How about that?
On the scientific Trine scale?
Trine 5, definitely the highest quality game. Well crafted, comprehensible story arc. The story in Trine 2 is just awful. It's there's 2 sisters, and they hate each other, and they're queens, and you're following all of this through, audio logs, basically. And then you're surely the real story is going to start now. And then the game ends.
Right.
But the Trine 2 is the triniest of the Trines, but Trine 5 is good. You shouldn't start here. You won't get the lore. And I really feel it rewards seeing the evolution of it over time. I do. So, but Trine 5, worth working your way through Trines 1 through 4 to get to Trine 5. I'll say. Don't skip 3. 3 is part of the experience. You can't skip it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have that, like, and then we forgot all about it of 3.
Chain of memories.
Exactly. Then we got Chain of Memoried, and Deep Jungle disappeared. Probably the first of 2 times I will mention Deep Jungle on this podcast.
I'm excited for the second Deep Jungle reference coming up in a bit.
Anyway, Frozen Bite, give me a Trine Triplets edition, please.
You can only cast Fireball.
Yeah, they actually don't have different abilities. It's just 3 of them that cast a lot of fireballs.
Okay, well, I'll do my Steam Deck section here.
I hope that lived up to your hopes of the Trine 5.
It really did. Spec Ops The Line Who?
I know.
It really sounds like they went through like a real, crisis of character.
They did. They almost gave up several times. Amadeus was ready to give up. And Pontius may never be the same.
But he's the heart of the team.
It was so funny. They were like, Amadeus reunited with his children. Zoya found love. Pontius, he's the heart of the team.
Oh dear. All right. Steam Deck section. I finished 9 Souls, which I think I had started last time. 9 Souls, 1,000 Times Resist, duking it out for my Game of the Year list. Honestly.
I will play 1,000 Times Resist before the next one.
Okay. I'm excited.
I just got I got into a mode where I was like, I couldn't start anything.
But 9 Souls was really, really, really good. I really was surprised by how much I enjoyed it, I guess. Because it is a Souls-like Metroidvania, neither of which are genres that I play very much of.
Not your jam.
But I think, to me, Red Candle just like nailed it in every front, really. When it comes to console, which they are working on that. Maybe Clickbait Boyfriend should try it because I know he liked Hollow Knight, right?
He loves Hollow Knight,
yes,
and Elden Ring.
So perhaps he would like this. I spent a very long time on the final boss, but really what is a testament to how much I enjoyed this game is I didn't feel like I got frustrated. I did have to put it down. The first time I got to phase 3 of the final boss, I tried one more time and didn't even get past phase 1, and I was like, okay, we're putting it down, we're letting it sift into our long-term memory over the sleep cycle, right? And then the next day I got it.
That's such a healthier way to go about it than the gameplay that I will describe later in the episode.
When you get to the 3rd phase of the final boss, it really is a moment of huh? What do you mean? Huh? But then when you get it, when you get past the intimidating nature of it, it's so satisfying to figure out the way to do things. And there's multiple different approaches that you can take to different things. So I was very only parry and talisman basically, but if you want to use his regular attacks, you can put in a bunch of you can fit in jades that will change Yi, who's your player character's abilities, so you can prioritize what things you want to use. And he also has a few different types of arrows. There's one that stuns any enemy for a brief period of time, which was also very handy for me because you could be actually, I don't want you to do that move. So you won't. You won't do it. I found the story very satisfying too. It was really good. I really liked it. It was really good. It made me feel emotions. I had sort of guessed, there's a sort of reveal around you've been getting, messages from your sister throughout the whole of the game, and at the end you sort of get those contextualized, and it's just very good. Like, I had sort of figured it out already, but it's still very satisfying when those pieces slot into place and you feel like you finally understand sort of what's going on and what's driving your character right at the end. Very high recommendation for me. It's just on Steam right now, but they are working on console ports, so those will be out eventually. And I think they're planning to add some, like, replayability features when the console ports come out too, like boss rushes and stuff. So there will be more things to do if you're someone who likes to replay games. If you're someone who has time to replay games, which is not me. So when we get to the end of the year, I expect you to talk more about Nine Souls, I guess. Then I also played Until Then, which is sort of a adventure visual novel game that's set in the Philippines, and has some, like, supernatural sort of elements. So I saw it compared a little to A Space for the Unbound, right, which is also, like, set in a place, which is Indonesia in that case. And has, like, supernatural elements to it. So
I love when games are set in a place.
They're set, but you know what I mean, right?
I do know what you mean. It's just funny.
So I had played the demo at one of the Steam Next Fest, and I really, really liked the demo, which was essentially, like, the starting parts of the game. So I got it, and I played it. And unfortunately, I feel like it tries to cover a little bit too much. And it ends up feeling, like, a little overlong. And unfortunately, I just didn't connect with, like, the main emotional, what I think was supposed to be, like, the main emotional through line of, like, Mark and Nicole, you play as Mark, as, like, romantic relationship, which I thought was, like, cute, but, like, I wasn't, like, really emotionally invested in it. Which I feel like you kind of need to be by the end of the game, to really sort of get the feeling. So some of the stuff that didn't work for me, I think, was subjective. And if you like these sorts of games, I still encourage giving it a try, because there was a lot of stuff that I did like, and I think there was some clever things in there. And it's quite charming. It just didn't resonate with me, I guess, by the end.
Steamy.
Steamy?
Like Steam Deck.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Where'd Steamy come from? Yes, I played those both on my Steam Deck. My Steam Deck did not like Until Then very much, I have to say.
The Steam Deck review.
It crashed a couple of times on my Steam Deck for no discernible reason. But, you know, that's on me, probably. That's my bad.
It's your own fault.
It's probably my own fault. I don't close the game enough on my Steam Deck. That's my problem, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you should close it so that it can install updates and stuff.
Take a rest.
Yeah.
Okay, quick report then. This is not a game that I played in this 6 weeks, but it's a game I watched someone else play in this 6 weeks, which is, you suggested that Clickbait Boyfriend might enjoy Animal Well, so I suggested that he play it, and lo and behold, he got way too into it. So I did get to watch, in addition to watching a run of it, like, I got the 4 items that you use in the first part of the game in a specific order, and he got them in a totally different order, which was fascinating to behold. And I had to be very careful to not do too much when he, like, couldn't to see something in a room. But he ended up playing all the way through the eggs part of it, whereas I stopped after the sort of first boss ending. He did play through to get all 64 eggs, although he did start looking them up. It's crazy how much other stuff there is in that game.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
There's all these other items and other things to do. I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy to design your game that way. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, what a wild... So wild to put things behind a first ending.
A lot of games do that.
I know they do. But the more I think about it, I'm like, it's so interesting. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
Because there's like a whole other game. But he stopped before getting too heavy into the rabbits. That was a bridge too far. So we found our different breaking points.
Mm-hmm.
But given that he was doing a fair bit of looking it up by the end, I feel like I stopped in the right place.
Well, thank you for your Animal Well report.
Yes, I can report that there is indeed a lot more game after that first ending that I did not experience.
Did you enjoy watching it?
Yeah, I mean, some of this was happening like while I was doing things like recording the podcast and stuff, right?
Sure.
But I did. It was interesting to be like, oh wow, like there's that thing, or there's this other boss, or there's this other thing that you can do, or you've tamed the manticore now, and all that stuff. It was interesting to be like, I see how they've found other things for you to be able to do here. Mm-hmm. Even if I was glad that I did not personally do those things.
Yeah. All right, one more for me. Next up, I broke out my 3DS. I said enough of that Steam Deck. It's time to go back to the classics.
Lightweight.
Yes, my lightweight. It really does feel very lightweight after playing a lot of games on the Steam Deck. You pick it up. It's like when you pick up a can of soda and you've forgotten how much is left in it. That's how it feels to pick up my 3DS now.
What a specific metaphor.
This happened to me. That happens to me a lot. So, So I played Attack of the Friday Monsters, a Tokyo Tale, which is by the developers of Boku no Natsuyasumi, which you probably have heard of, if you've heard of it all, from the Tim Rogers video on it.
Yep.
This one was actually brought over and translated into English. So it's a pretty short game. Essentially the setup is you've just moved to this new town, and it's the town where the monsters come out on Fridays, right? So you have to be careful. It's, not to, I guess, spoil the twist or whatever, but it's pretty clear to you, the player, that they film, like, the monster Sentai Hero show in this town, right? And they've sort of made it enough of a production that all the kids in town believe, like, oh yeah, the monsters, they just come out on Fridays, right? And then we have to, go look at them or run home and be safe or whatever.
That's funny.
So it's a lot of just, like, running around, like, investigating the monsters, reporting things to the TV station, like, oh, I've discovered, this thing about the monsters. Playing, you can play monster cards with your friends, right? And if you beat them in monster cards, they become your servant, and you can cast a spell on them to make them fall over. So I whipped those kids' butts.
I bet.
Except for there's one post-game one where I did not, but that was okay. I thought it was appropriate for
they can have one win.
S-chan to absolutely destroy me at cards. It was in the story. Made sense.
Yeah, narratively.
But anyway, the initial thing may be a TV thing, but there's something else going on behind the scenes. There's this mysterious guy named Frank who keeps wandering around town saying furtive stuff.
Man named Frank in Tokyo is indeed...
They don't locally... I assume his name must just be Frank, because they don't change any of the other names. And I assume it is just Frank in Japanese as well.
A little suspicious.
Yeah. And so things might not be as they appear, both to your character and to you, the player.
A lot of spooky games for you here in July.
Yeah, but it's got those, Boko no Natsuyasumi vibes in spades, too, with all the fixed camera angles and, like, just sort of running around, vibing with your friends. The train goes by in the background, There are these sub-stories going on as well. But it's just a nice, cozy, short little experience. It feels very, like, sort of nostalgic of childhood in a very specific way, right? And it's just like a weird little game. I don't know. Like, I do really appreciate the idea of these games that are just like, yeah, you're just a kid and you do some kid stuff, right? So it was really nice to play. It was a nice little palate cleanser from other games, I think.
Wow, speaking of palate, couldn't have done that better. The other game that I have been playing, my boyfriend and I have both been playing a lot of, is Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble!
Woo!
The new Super Monkey Ball game. Real new Super Monkey Ball levels without, like, jumps in them for the first time in a real long time.
Was there not a new one, like, last year or the year before or something?
No, the one that they released recently was, like, a remaster of, like, all of the Monkey Ball levels that had existed beforehand, basically.
I understand.
So, yes, Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble also has the best Monkey Ball story of all time.
You told me a little bit of it. I wasn't even aware that Monkey Ball had stories.
Well, usually it's just like, they're trying to get the banana back.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. In this one, the usual monkeys are all hanging out. Ai, Mimi, Gon Gon, Yan Yan, the doctor, Baby. Kiryu does not return. Which is a bummer.
That is a bummer.
Or not yet, anyway. And they've met this new monkey named Palette. Hence the transition.
Mm-hmm.
And Palette is looking for her dad. And to find her dad, she has to collect the 7, what we've been calling ooparts. But maybe that's not how you pronounce it.
It's like
It's an acronym for out-of-place artifacts, which Clickbait Boyfriend and I did not know until you sent us the World Ends With You song, and it occurred to me that this might not just be something that the whole time we've been like, why are they calling it that? Like, what is that? What does it stand for? Like what a weird thing. And only now do I realize that it's maybe a real thing.
It does sound kind of monkeyish, so I can see
like
ooh parts.
It's like reminiscent of the okay that they do all the time.
Yeah.
So we have played through what I am assuming from knowing how many levels there are is about half the game, wherein we have collected the 7 ooparts, whatever, by completing a bunch of Monkey Ball levels. And now, spoilers, but I'm not at the end of the game. We've also been followed by the Gala family throughout, who are like lion and 2 other animals, who have seemed to want to stop us. But now, I
didn't know there were non-monkeys in.
Yeah,
Super
me either.
Ball. Except for Kiryu, I guess.
And Sonic. But just recently, on one of the most recent worlds we finished, her dad appeared, and he introduced himself as the Phantom Thief, Easel. He said that out loud. I mean, this game is not voiced like that. He said, me, but, like, it said Phantom Thief.
I mean, it's a Sega game, right?
I know, but it's like, that was crazy to me.
Phantom Thief is, like, a thing.
I know, but the fact that it's a Sega game is actually the reason why they can't say that.
Oh, okay.
Someone should have been like, I don't know about this.
Don't you know Persona 5 invented Phantom Thieves?
Along with Shibuya.
Arsene Lupin, they invented him.
I'm just saying, it was shocking for this monkey to show up and be like, I'm a Phantom Thief. And then immediately after that, they were like, to get the ooparts back from him, like, we need someone who's pure of heart. I was like, is this Kingdom Hearts? And then they had a literal world called Kylum, which I know is Latin for sky, but it was just very reminiscent of Scala ad Kylum for a game that was starting to make a big deal about being pure of heart so you can get the 7 objects back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, did Nomura consult on this story? What's going on here? Anyway, it's a great Monkey Ball game. The levels there's some fun level stuff going on, and unfortunately, Clickbait Boyfriend and I cannot play these games in a healthy manner.
Yeah.
We have to get the time goal.
That sounds familiar.
And the golden banana.
Yeah.
So far we've been managing to go back and do it. And this brings me to the story of why I am currently, look, it's noon on a Sunday, but like suspend your disbelief that maybe it's a time of day where it might be getting dark out, is why that I'm recording this in like the pitch black right now. Mm-hmm. Is that we were trying really, really hard on like one particular level to get the time goal, and it was just seeming like it was going to be impossible. Like we just weren't going to be able to do it. And then Clickbait Boyfriend managed to do it. He got it. And he went like running around the house, right? Which is like, okay, sure. Like we do that sometimes after we get the level. And then there's like a crashing sound from in the bedroom. And he has somehow, I'm still not clear on how he did this, but he like broke the outlet off of the wall. Like it chipped and fell off.
Was anything plugged into it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Like, it was just like really plugged in there?
I think that has to have been it, but anyway, it's still broken on the floor because we don't know what to do.
Get someone to fix it.
I know. Well, somebody needs to put in a maintenance request.
Yeah.
But the tunes are banging. You get to dress up your monkeys. It's a good game.
Sounds like they should really put Ichiban in there, not Kiryu.
Yes. Sounds like Ichiban should have a Monkey Ball minigame in his game.
Think they're ever going to give Ichiban a game again?
Look, okay, here's my little, like, I did, all like, this also, they're both RGG games. Something about RGG games just have me in a chokehold.
Yeah.
Right? By the way, like, why do I get so obsessed with Monkey Ball?
They're monkeys and balls. What else do you want?
Bananas. But they released a new trailer for the Like a Dragon Yakuza, which is still the funniest thing I've ever heard, by the way. That is, you should watch. You're not gonna love it. It's like a lot of him getting tattooed, so like needles on skin. I don't think you're gonna love it.
I don't have a huge aversion to needles, but
I just feel like you don't love like that. I don't know.
Needles?
Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway.
Like needles? Like what is it specifically?
Well, it's just like him getting like tattooed.
Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna be super excited about it, but it
was very vibesy. A little bit of fighting. Didn't really catch any glimpses of Haruka too much. I think the show, like it's good. It would be a good it gives some of the Yakuza 0 opening cinematic kind of vibes in vibe, but also I'm like, man, this show is gonna be bad.
Why?
'Cause not a hint of goof.
Oh, okay. No
hints of goof yet.
Well, we'll see.
I'm scared.
I saw an interview that the lead actor was like, yeah, Kiryu's just a guy desperate for love or something.
No, he gets it.
Yeah.
Everybody involved gets it. I just think it's going to be bad. But also they decided to release a starter pack that encourages you to start with Kiwami, which is just categorically wrong.
It can't be categorically wrong.
It is, though.
That is the first game, chronologically. I mean,
Sure.
In release. Chronologically in release.
But is not the game that you should have someone start with. I know what they're saying. They're saying, dear God, we got all these people to get way too invested in Majima, and he's never going to have an arc ever again.
Yeah.
So we need to hide Yakuza 0 from people. Dear God, we don't want to make another cabaret minigame.
Well, we'll see. They're announcing their next game at Tokyo Games Fest too.
I can't wait.
Which apparently that's going to be surprising. So
I know.
I don't know how I feel about surprising. I don't know how surprised I should feel like how should I prepare myself? I don't know what they mean by surprised, I guess, is my problem.
It won't be Kiwami 3. Which I don't think they should waste their time making. I'm going to be really honest.
Do you think it'll be another historical game? That's sort of my guess right now.
Like a new one?
Yeah.
I guess, I was like, they just did that, but they've released 2 games since then.
Yeah. They did kind of just do that, but they've moved a lot of historical type stuff into the... I guess it wasn't in the Dragon Engine, was it? That one was Unreal, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they made Ishin. I think they made Ishin on something else, if I remember correctly.
Okay. I think that you're coming from a good idea, but I don't think it's gonna be a Dead Souls remake, but I would like for it to be like a different genre take.
Cyberpunk.
Wouldn't that be sick? It would just be the game from Judgment.
He's already got they put like the orbital laser, right? Heat move. That's Cyberpunk.
What if it's Yakuza 3 to the 3rd, Judgment 3?
What does that even mean?
It's all 3 of them. Triple pro tag.
Oh, I see. It's Yakuza Kiwami 3, but it's not actually Yakuza 3 remade. It's just that it's extreme because there's 3 of them in it.
No. It's Yakuza 9, right? So Yakuza 3 to the 3rd, and then the other 3 is Judgment. It's Judgment 3.
Oh, we'll see. I'm approaching their next game with a sense of wariness right now. So
the next game is not going to be 9.
I know, just in general, I guess.
It'll be Judgment and he sings. That's the surprising thing.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be good. Ooh. What if it's just a karaoke game? What if it's a rhythm game?
I pointed at Madelyn for the list.
What if it's just a cabaret club?
I'm pointing.
Okay, you've got one more game. I could just sit here being like, ooh, they can make this game. Ooh, they can make that game.
Okay,
what if it's Monkey Ball?
I got Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance to play, which is of course the customary Atlas re-release of their game.
It's confusing to me that there's a Shin Megami Tensei 5. That feels like that goes to my brain. My brain tries to translate that as Persona 5.
Yeah, no, it's not Persona 5.
I know it's not, but
it does come with the customary Atlas re-release girl. This one is a little bit more extensive, I think, because you do choose at the beginning, like, between the 2 different story routes that you want to take. So the one that was in the original Shin Megami Tensei 5 and the new one that's been added to this. So theoretically, they have added, like, a game's worth of content. Not quite a game's worth of content, because it still, like, goes to the same locations and stuff, but they've added a whole new route. They haven't just, like, enhanced it like they usually do their games. So I got this because I played 4 last year, 2 years ago, and it's just very comfy. I don't know. I'm finding 5 very comfy and relaxing, which I feel like is not actually the feeling you're supposed to get from Shin Megami Tensei, but that's fine.
Yeah, maybe not the desired effect.
So in this one, you're a boy, you're a young man.
Yeah, boy.
And you find yourself sucked into the netherworld one day. And while you're there,
calls to mind the like latest like reels and TikTok format of like been sucked into the underworld. Parentheses. I'm just a boy.
That is what that is. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the summary of the start of the game. Anyway, you're wandering in the desert, and some demons are about to attack and kill you when a man appears from the sky and says, "Take my hand if you want to live." And so you do, and you fuse into a being called the Nahobino, which is essentially like a sort of a godlike being.
So you're no longer just a boy.
No, you're not just a boy. Now you're young man. Do you know the meme of like someone's like ordering fast food and they're like, would you like extra large fries? And they pull a picture out of their pocket and it's like, what should I do? And they're like, get the extra large fries, you will need strength in the days to come. You know that meme?
No, but I'm gonna look it up after this. I think I love it.
Anyway, Al Gavi, who's the man you fuse with, is the picture you pull out of your pocket who tells you to get the extra large fries. That's the dynamic going on here.
Googling extra large fries meme did not bring this up.
But anyway, you're sort of like two beings in one body. And he calls you young man all the time. So you're going around the netherworld trying to find your way back to the Tokyo you know. Some of your classmates have been sucked in with you, including Atlas, re-release girl, because I picked the new story route for the beginning. So I'm doing that. And you get sort of wrapped up in the netherworld shenanigans, which I think is like 20 years in like Tokyo was destroyed, so they made like a pseudo Tokyo where people live now, but the real Tokyo is like the netherworld. I don't know. I didn't really internalize it. But you can go back and forth between like your Tokyo and the netherworld ruins of Tokyo.
Hopefully we can all do that eventually.
Yeah, eventually. But mostly you're in the netherworld. You recruit demons to your side so you can use them in battle. You have a couple of human allies tagging along too who you can use in battle. You train your demons, you fuse them into new ones, you do side quests. There's a split in this one, like whether you're doing order or chaos is sort of the thing in the Shin Megami Tensei games. So the choices that you make in conversations and in the side quests that you choose to do will impact like what ending you go down, which I'm just letting the cards fall as they may, essentially. We'll see which one I end up on.
Do you think you are orderly or chaotic?
I don't know. They're both kind of bad usually in SMT. All routes are kind of bad is sort of the
Nice.
vibe. Sometimes neutral is like the one you actually want to go down. But sometimes it's very difficult to get neutral, and I don't feel like min-maxing my conversation stuff. I don't think there actually is a neutral one in the Vengeance route, actually. I think there's only order or chaos, so...
You'll probably get the golden route without trying anyway.
I don't think there is one in this.
I know,
and
but you'll somehow find it.
I very, very much did not in SMT4, where you have like a 10-point differential to get the neutral route, versus like you can go like 100 on either side of the scale. So it can be tough to balance that out. But I'm just vibing. I love running around. In your Nahobino form, you just have really, really long blue hair that like flows out behind you. I'm really amassing like Nahobino and the Girl Squad right now with my demons.
Gal pals in the netherworld.
Yeah. When you say the girls and the gays, can you include Nahobino too? And yeah, it's just quite fun. The music's good. I can't say, like I said, I can't say I've really internalized anything about the story. There's one character named Dazai who every time you talk to him, he like trauma dumps on you, which is very funny. When all the other characters don't do that.
Yeah. Someone has chosen chaos.
I think he's hanging out with the angels, so I think he's actually the order route, which is interesting.
Confusing.
It's very funny though. It's like you go talk to him and he's like, yeah, I'm so weak and sad and my parents are fighting all the time. I'm like, Dazai, okay. We just met. So yeah, it's just sort of like a good game to relax to, essentially. I love relaxing in
Sure.
the unforgiving netherworld.
With the demons.
With the demons. With my Girl Squad demons.
Well, another jam-packed 6 weeks of gaming. Unless
It
you're
sure
me.
was.
And all you played was Monkey Ball. Listeners, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
If you enjoyed the show, you should hit us up on social media if you've got thoughts about the show in general. If you played any of these games, if you are hanging out with your squad of demons, if you have gotten too obsessed with Super Monkey Ball, if you think that 13 is an underrated Final Fantasy trilogy, hit us up there. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Talk This Podcast. You can also visit our website, www.talkthispodcast.com, where you can read all about the show, check out the games in the hat, and read our blog featuring long-running series, Clickbait Boyfriend, and Split Screen. But most importantly, if you enjoyed the show, you should subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, Pandora Podcasts, online and on the app, Overcast, Pocket Casts, anything that ends in casts, any podcast service. Find Talk This, subscribe there, like it, leave a review. You know the drill.
Next week.
Yeah, I don't
do you know what games they are?
Nope.
Next week, we're talking about the Banner Saga and Crow Country.
Right. I knew it was, I was like, I remember it being another of those indies. Another of those indies.
Those ones. The May ones.
So look forward to that, and then in 2 weeks, my side quest about the dog days of summer.
Very exciting.
Yeah, something. About Augustus Caesar. In games.
Okay.
So you won't see us then. We won't see you then. I was like, we'll see you then. But you won't. You'll listen to us then. That's it for the show. Thanks for listening. Emma, do you have a sign off?
You sign us off.
I hope that this week you wish Emma a very happy belated video game birthday.